Okay. So we'll start the discussion on the dependent sources. So the last class we saw the basic concept or the basic circuit elements which normally are present in any electrical circuit, right? So basically the circuit elements can be broadly classified as active circuit elements and passive circuit elements, and in the active circuit elements we were discussing about the independent sources and the dependent sources, right? So what is an independent source? What is an independent source? Anyone?
It maintains constant voltage across.
Yes. If it is an independent voltage source, it maintains a constant voltage across it, irrespective of the change in the current or voltage at any other part of the circuit. Okay. So such sources are basically called as independent sources. And the second type of source what we have is the dependent source. Okay. And as the name indicates, they are dependent on the voltage or current flowing at elsewhere in the circuit. Okay. And these dependent sources, as what we have seen, can be broadly classified as uh, uh, can be broadly categorized into four types, depending on whether it is a voltage source or a current source, and whether it is depending on a voltage or a current. Okay, so there are four possible combinations of this dependent sources. Okay, and the symbolic representation for the dependent sources is using the diamond symbol. Okay, so this is how normally in any circuit, the dependent sources will be represented, and if it is a voltage source, it is represented using this plus minus, and if it is a current source, it is represented using the arrow mark. Okay, and we have also seen these four categories in detail in the last class. Okay, and these dependent sources mainly exist in electronic circuits such as transistors, operational amplifiers, and integrated circuits. So directly in electrical circuits, we may not encounter a dependent source, but in electronic circuits, these kinds of dependent sources are quite common. Okay, because the current or voltage in certain part of the circuit can influence the voltage or the current in a in a in another part of the circuit. Okay, so in such cases, they are represented using a dependent source. Okay, and yes, we have seen the four possible combinations of the dependent sources in detail. And in today's class, we will see a few more examples so that you will be able to relate or you will be able to understand this concept of dependent source. Okay. I will give you a few examples. So can you try to understand or can you try to find out what is the type of dependent source? What is shown in the first figure?
Ma'am, is it dependent current source, ma'am?
It is a dependent current source. Okay. Which parameter is it dependent on?
Voltage.
Maybe voltage, ma'am.
Voltage control.
Okay. Is it a voltage controlled current source?
Yes, ma'am.
Current control source.
Current control.
It's current
Okay.
control source.
Okay. So which one is correct? Is it voltage controlled or current
It's
controlled?
voltage, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So students who are telling it is a voltage controlled current source, how do you justify your answer?
Ma'am, it's actually dependent current, like current source. So it's current controlled voltage source, ma'am.
Uh,
It's current controlled current source.
yes. See, first you have to understand whether it is a voltage source or a current source. Okay. So how will you decide whether it is a voltage source or a current source? Based on the symbol. So if it is a voltage source, it has plus minus symbol, and if it is a current source, it has an arrow mark. Okay. So this arrow mark clearly tells that it is a current source. Okay. It is a current source, and you see the value. It is 6 I naught. Okay. So this I naught tells that it is dependent on a current flowing in another part of the circuit. Okay. So it means that it is a current source, but it is controlled by another current. Okay. So it is a current controlled current source. Okay, it is a current controlled current source. Are you able to understand? So first you have to determine whether it is a voltage source or a current source. After determining that, you have to understand whether it is controlled by another current or whether it is controlled by another voltage. So here this clearly tells that it is controlled by another current, hence it is a current controlled current source. Okay. We will see one more example. Okay, so here what is the nature of the dependent source?
Voltage control current source.
Yes, it is a voltage controlled current source. Okay, so the symbol indicates that it is a current source and it is dependent on a voltage present in some other part of the circuit. Okay, so it is a voltage controlled current source. Okay, whether everyone is able to follow it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So this is very important. Understanding whether it is a current source or a voltage source is very important, because especially when we do circuit analysis, only if you are clear whether it is a voltage source or a current source, then it is easy for you to apply the analysis. Okay, so that's the reason why you have to be very clear with understanding or identifying the type of the source. Okay, more.
Voltage control voltage.
Voltage.
Yes, so it is a voltage source because it has plus minus symbol. Okay, so it is a voltage source, and if you see this value, it is 3 times V0. So V0 is a voltage present somewhere in the circuit. Okay, so V0 basically represents a voltage, so it is dependent on a voltage. So we can tell that it is a voltage controlled voltage source. So either you can tell it is a voltage dependent voltage source or voltage controlled voltage source. Okay, and what about this 24 volt?
Is it
Independent
source?
voltage source.
Independent.
Yeah, it is an independent voltage source. Very good. And this one?
Current controlled voltage source.
Current controlled voltage source.
Yes, it is a current controlled voltage source. Very good. Okay, so it's quite easy if you know how to differentiate it. Whether first thing is that you have to understand whether it is a voltage source or a current source, and second thing is that based on the value which is given there, you can understand whether it is dependent on a current or whether it is dependent on a voltage. Okay, so, and we have only 4 possible combinations. Okay, so I think that's fine. We will move on to the next discussion, the next topic.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, how do we know whether it is voltage source or current source, ma'am?
The symbol will tell. If you have a plus minus, it is a voltage source. If it has an arrow, it is a current source.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so that is based on the symbolic representation. Okay, so you can just copy it so that I think later when you refer also it will be easy for you. So when we analyze the circuits, okay, we actually use 2 major fundamental laws. So one is based on current and other is based on voltage. Okay, so it is very important that the sources you should be able to understand what type of source it is. Okay, because sometimes you get misleaded because here we have the value as phi I naught. So sometimes students may think that it is a current source. That is not correct. Okay. So the symbol tells that it is a voltage source, but it is dependent on some other current. Okay, and it has to be treated as a voltage. Though it is controlled by a current, this element is basically a voltage source. Okay, the same thing, the previous example, this example, though it is controlled by a voltage, it is basically a current. Okay, finally it is a current source. So if V naught is, say for example 100 volt, then 0.01 times 100 will be 1. So it is 1 ampere of current which is coming out of the source. It has to be understood that way. Okay, so the current which is coming out is going to be in terms of ampere. It will be 1 ampere of current, though it is dependent on a voltage. Okay, so this V naught will only tell that if there is any change in that V naught, correspondingly the current will be affected here. That's it. Okay, so the current which is coming out of this source is influenced by the voltage present in this part of the circuit, and if there is a change in the resistance here, there will be change in the voltage, and correspondingly the current which is coming out will change. Okay, but it is a current source. Yes.
Ma'am, can you explain the last case, ma'am? Current control voltage source.
Current controlled voltage source. Okay, so here the symbol tells that it is a voltage source. Okay, so it has to be treated as a voltage, but it is influenced by the current flowing in this 5 ohm resistor. Okay, so if the current which is flowing here changes, then correspondingly the value of this particular voltage source will change, but it is always the voltage source. Okay, so say for example if I naught is 1 ampere, then the voltage at this point is 5 volt. Okay, it is not 5 ampere, it is 5 volt. Okay, and if I naught changes to 2 ampere, then this voltage will be 10 volt. So altogether it has to be treated as a voltage source. Only thing,
but there is an
yes.
arrow mark inside the circle, ma'am. That means it is current source. So why is it not current source?
Which one are you speaking of? I'm telling about this 5 I naught.
Ma'am, what about 4A, ma'am?
4A is a current source and it is an independent current source.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Okay, so the circle tells that it is an independent source and the arrow tells that it is a current source. Okay.
Okay.
So it is independent of the rest of the circuit. Whatever be the circuit element you connect it to this 4 ampere, it will constantly supply a 4 ampere current. It is not influenced by the current or voltage present in the rest of the circuit. Okay, so that's why we call it as an independent source. And the same thing is applicable for this 20 volt. Okay, so irrespective of the circuit elements, whichever is connected, this will constantly give a voltage source of 20 volt. Okay, however, this dependent source is purely dependent on this I naught. So if there is any change in I naught because of the change in the circuit element, then correspondingly this voltage will be affected. Okay, but it is a voltage source. Are you able to understand?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, so next we will have some basic concepts. So most of the concepts maybe you have already learned, but just as a recap, we will touch upon and we will go on to the other concepts. Okay, so the basic fundamental quantity in any electrical circuit is the current and the voltage. And basically current, you know, the definition for the current is it represents the rate of change of the charge. Okay, and mathematically it can be represented as I dq by dt, and it is Ampere who has defined the electric current, and he also developed a way to measure it way back in the year 1820. Okay, and here the current can be broadly classified as a direct current and an alternating current. So direct current is nothing but, as the name indicates, it is also called as a constant current. Okay, so irrespective of the change in the time, the current across it remains constant. Okay, so that currents are called as a direct current, and the other category is the alternating current. And so this alternating current is a current that varies sinusoidally with respect to time. Okay, so as time changes, the amplitude value of the current will also change. So such kinds of currents are called as alternating current. Okay. And in our initial discussion, we will be concentrating on the direct current, and later we will be concentrating on the alternating current. Okay. So can just take down this mathematical expression as well as the DC current and the AC current. Okay. So in the case of DC current, if we know the magnitude of the current, directly we can represent the current source as that particular magnitude. However, in the case of alternating current, since the magnitude is changing with respect to time, we have to represent either using a sinusoidal function or using a cosine function. Okay. So depending on the reference, either it can be represented as a sinusoidal function or a cosine function. And since it is fluctuating with respect to time, definitely it will have some frequency. So the frequency should also be represented in the expression when we are expressing a alternating current. Okay. So when we will start the discussion of alternating current, we will see how mathematically AC current will be represented. But right now we will be initially concentrating on only on the direct current. Okay, and the direct current can be represented only in terms of its magnitude. Okay, so hope you have copied it. Yeah, and the next fundamental measure is the voltage. Okay, so basically voltage is defined as the energy required to move a unit charge through an element, and it is measured in volts. Okay, so say for example, if you have 2 points A and B, the energy which is required to move a unit charge from point A to point B is basically called as the voltage or the potential difference between the 2 points A and B. Okay, and as per the definition, mathematically the potential difference or the voltage can be represented as dW by dQ, where W is the energy and Q is the charge. Okay, so the energy required to move a unit charge through an element. Okay, so dW by dQ, that gives the potential difference between the points A and B.
It's work done, ma'am.
Sorry?
It's work done to move a unit charge, no, ma'am.
The energy or the work done to move a unit charge through an element.
Yes.
Yes. And for this voltage, the polarity is very, very important. Okay. So say for example, in the first case, point A is represented using plus sign and point B is represented using minus sign, which means that point A is at a higher potential compared to point B. Okay, and in this case, the voltage can be read as 9 volts. Okay. On the other hand, if the polarity changes, so if B is at a higher potential and if A is at a lower potential, then this voltage is nothing but it has to be represented as minus 9 volt. Okay. So if you are finding VAB, so VAB in the second case is minus 9 volt, whereas VAB in the first case is plus 9 volt. Okay. So that's about the voltage or the potential difference. Okay, fine. Have you all copied this?
1 minute, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So the next fundamental measure is the power and energy. Okay. So though current and voltage are the two basic fundamental quantities in any electrical circuit, but for most of the practical purpose, we use power and energy. Okay. So basically, power is defined as it is the time rate of expending or absorbing energy. Okay. As per the definition, mathematically it can be represented as the rate of change of energy. Okay, so the rate of change of energy with respect to time is nothing but power. Okay, so mathematically it is dW by dt, and this dW by dt can be split up and written as dW by dq into dq by dt. So we have seen that the rate of, sorry, it's not the rate, it is dW by dq is nothing but the voltage, and rate of change of charge is nothing but current. So it means that power can be obtained by the product of the voltage and the current. Okay. And power is basically measured in watts. And this power is basically a time varying quantity, and it is also called as instantaneous power. However, if both the voltage and the current are DC, in the sense like if the voltage is also a DC and if the current is also a DC, where they will not change with respect to time, then the power will be a constant value. However, if the voltage and current are alternating in nature, then the power will also vary, and such type of power will be called as an instantaneous power. Okay, so the term instantaneous represents that it will change with respect to time. Okay. So this is the basic definition of power and the mathematical expression for power. And normally the power can be either delivered by an element or it can be absorbed by an element. Okay. So in order to understand whether the power is being absorbed or whether it is being delivered, okay, we follow a certain convention when we solve it using, or when we solve the electric circuits. Okay, so that we will see now. So here you need not copy all the statements because anyway PDF will be available. You copy the definition as well as the mathematical expression. Okay, so which will be used when we do numericals. So other than that, the contents you need not copy everything. That will be too much time consuming. So copy down the formulas as well as the basic definitions. Okay, have you all copied it?
No, ma'am, one second.
Have you copied?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we have to understand how to find out whether whether the power is being delivered or absorbed by a particular element in a circuit. Okay. So for that we follow a passive sign convention. Okay. So here, as per this passive sign convention, say for example, if we have if we have an circuit element, okay, which is represented using this green box, okay, so it will have a voltage across it, and the current can either enter the element or it can come out of the element. Okay, so the reference for the passive sign convention is that if current comes out of the positive terminal of that particular element, this particular element is going to supply the power. Okay, so we have a voltage V across this particular circuit element. So it will have a plus symbol and a minus symbol, and if current comes out of this plus symbol, it means that it supplies the power. Okay, on the other hand, if current enters into the positive terminal, it means that this particular element is absorbing the power. Okay, so if current comes out of the positive terminal, it is delivering power or supplying the power, and if current enters into the positive terminal, it is absorbing the power. Okay, and power, we know it is a product of voltage and current, and depending on whether it is supplying the power or absorbing the power, it have a value as minus or plus. Okay, so that is a convention we follow, the passive sign convention we follow to understand whether a given circuit element is absorbing power or supplying power. Okay, so if it is supplying power, power is represented as minus Vi, and if it is absorbing power, it is represented as plus Vi. Okay. However, in simple, if the current is coming out of the positive terminal, it is supplying, and if current is entering into the positive terminal, it is absorbing the power. Okay. And for any closed circuit, the power absorbed will be equal to the minus of power supplied. Okay. Or in otherwise, we can tell that as per the law of conservation of energy, the total power or the algebraic sum of power in a circuit at any instant of time will be 0. Okay. So in any circuit, if you sum up all the powers of all the elements, the total power will be equal to 0. Or in otherwise, we can tell that the power supplied will be equal to the power absorbed by the remaining elements. Okay. So in a given circuit, if the sources are delivering, say for example, 50 watts of power, then the entire 50 watt of power will be absorbed by the elements present in that circuit. Okay. So always the total power in any closed circuit should be 0. Are you able to understand this? Okay, so this diagram is important, so that will help us to understand whether it is a supplying power or an absorbing power. That's it. Okay, have you copied it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so here the thing is like the total power in a closed circuit should always be 0, and the passive sign convention for power is that if current comes out of the positive terminal, it is supplying power, and if current enters into the positive terminal, it is absorbing power. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, so the law of conservation of energy tells that the total power supplied to the circuit must always balance the total power which is absorbed by the circuit. Okay. Now, let us consider a few examples so that you will have a better understanding. Okay, so here we are having an element with the plus 4 volt across it. Okay, 4 volt across it, and here you can see that a 3 ampere current is entering into the positive terminal. Okay, so based on the convention, we can understand that since a 3 ampere current is entering into the positive terminal, it means that this particular element will absorb the power. Okay, so 3 ampere current is entering into the positive terminal, so it means that this element is absorbing the power. And what about the next case? Here a 3 ampere current is coming out of the negative terminal. So if a 3 ampere current is coming out of the negative terminal, it means that through the positive terminal the current would have entered, passed through the element, and it is now coming out of the negative terminal as 3 ampere, right? So it means that the current is actually entering into the positive terminal. So it means that this particular element is absorbing the power. Okay. So here, even though the current is not mentioned near to the positive terminal, we can understand that current will flow through the element this way. Okay, so it means that it has to enter into the positive terminal and it is an absorbing power. Okay, so or we can tell that this element will absorb the power of 12 watt. Okay. Okay, we have the second case. So here if you see the first one, we are having 4 volt across this element and 3 ampere current is coming out of the positive terminal. Okay, so if the current comes out of the positive terminal, it means that it is supplying power. Okay, and what about the second case? Here we are seeing 3 ampere is entering into the negative terminal. So it means that this 3 ampere will flow through the element and it will come out of this positive terminal. Okay, so here since the current is coming out of the positive terminal, it means that it is supplying a power. Okay, and as per the convention, it is represented as minus 12 watt. Okay, so minus power represents that it is supplying, and if the power is positive, it represents that it is absorbing. Are you able to follow this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the easiest way is always check for the positive terminal and check whether current is entering into it or coming out of it. Okay. So that will help us to decide whether it is supplying or whether it is absorbing the power. Okay. So next we will see a numerical, so that will help you to understand how to compute the power and to understand whether it is whether it is supplying the power or absorbing the power. Okay. So as I told in the last class, the numericals you will be doing parallelly with me with me in the class. Okay, and the practice problem you will be taking it as a homework and you will be completing before you come for the next class. Okay. Okay, so we will see the numerical. Okay, so before that, yeah, we'll just touch upon this energy also. So normally energy is nothing but if the power is absorbed by an element over a period of time, then the complete power multiplied by that time will give us the energy. Okay. So the power supplied or absorbed by an element over a period of time will give us the total energy. Okay. And normally, say for example, in all of our household appliances, or even if the electricity bill what comes to our house is based on the energy what we consume. Okay. So say for example, if you are running a fan for a certain duration of time, the fan will consume certain power. Okay. So say for example, it is consuming 100 watts of power, but if you are running for 10 hours, then the energy consumed is the 100 watt multiplied by the 10 hours. So that will compute what is the energy we are consuming. Okay. So in most of the electricity billing applications, they will be taking into consideration the energy rather than the power. Okay. Because power for a given device will be constant. However, based on the consumption, the energy will change. Okay. So energy is also a more meaningful term when it comes for practical purposes. Okay. Okay. So next, yeah, we will move on to the numerical. So here the circuit is given and you have to compute the power supplied or absorbed by each of the element. Okay. So you can copy the question. So here the voltage as well as the current values are already given. So we have to compute and find out whether the element is supplying the power or absorbing the power. Okay. So here the nature of the element is not known. It is simply represented using a box. But we have two sources. One is an independent source and other is a dependent source. So copy the question. Okay, so here we are having a dependent source. So can you tell me what type of dependent source is this one?
Current control.
Current control voltage source.
It's a
Current dependent voltage
Current
source, ma'am.
yes, it is a basically a voltage source because we have plus minus symbol, but it is controlled by a current. Okay, so it is a current controlled voltage source. So it has to be treated as a voltage. Okay. So have you all copied the question? So for each of the topic, there is an example problem given in the textbook. Okay. And in the class, we will not be solving the example problem because it is already available. We will be solving the practice problem. Okay. And in addition to that, you will also be given one problem which you will be doing it as a homework. Okay. Okay. So now, have you all copied the question?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So here for this circuit, there are totally 4 elements, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and they have only represented the power P1, P2, P3 and P4, and we have to compute the value and find out whether the power is supplied or absorbed. Okay. So we will do one by one. So first we will consider the first element. It is having a voltage of 5 volt across it, and we can see that these two elements are in series, right? So the basic concept of series and parallel, you told like you have already learned in your previous semester. So we just, so I'm not going into deep of that. So directly we will assume that you know the concept of series and parallel. Okay. So these two elements are in series. So if the elements are in series, it means that the same current flows through it. Okay. So here the current is mentioned as 8 amps. So it means that the same 8 ampere is also flowing through the first element. Okay. So now what is the power absorbed or supplied by the first element?
Minus 40 watts.
Yes.
Minus
Yeah,
40.
it is minus 40 watt because it is supplying the power. Okay. The current is coming out of the positive terminal. So P1 is minus 40 watt. Similarly, what is P2?
16.
16 watt.
Yes.
Plus 16 watt.
Yes, the current is entering into the positive terminal, so it is absorbing the power. So 2 times 8 is 16 watt, and it is absorbing the power, absorbed power. And coming to P3,
9 watt.
9 watts.
9 watts. Okay. So here the voltage of the third element is 0.6 into I, where I is 5 ampere, and the current is actually entering into the positive terminal, so it means that it is absorbing the power. Okay, so it is 9 watt absorbed power. And coming to the fourth element,
15 watt.
Plus 15.
15 watt.
15 watt, and it is again absorbed power. Okay, because current is entering into the positive terminal. Okay, so what is the total absorbed power?
40 watts.
It is 40 watt. Okay. So we can tell that the total supplied power is equal to the absorbed power. And as per the convention, for supplied power we have negative, and for absorbed power we have positive. Okay. So either you can do this way, or you can sum up the total power, and that will come to 0. Okay. So always there will be a balance between the power supplied and the power absorbed.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you once again explain P3?
Which one? P3?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So P3, first you have to understand what is the nature of this source. Okay, it is plus minus, so it means that it is a voltage source, and the value tells that it is dependent on a current. Okay, so it is a current dependent voltage source.
Yes. I have sent you a link. Yours is Windows, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You can only open in that one. Skype.
Yes, yes, I'll come. Okay, so here it is a voltage source and the current is entering into the positive terminal. So how do we compute the power? Power is the product of voltage and current. So the voltage is 0.6 into I and the current is 3 ampere. Okay, so 0.6 into I will totally give us a voltage. Okay, because it is basically a voltage source. And what is I? I is 5 ampere. So 0.6 times 5 will give you 3 volt. Okay, so 3 volt and 3 ampere will give us total power of 9 watt. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Sorry, there is a discussion. I have to join another discussion. So maybe we will be freezing the session today. The homework problem I will give it in the next class. Okay. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.